Making sure no matter what, I mean, shut the support of the man, the girl, yeah, man, I'm not as I as a girl, as a pass, I'm a just small lot, I'm a happy back of it, maybe to come back. I want to come to me, I'm a country, what's the kind I want to me, I see what you want from me, I'm going to look for me, I'm going to look for Someday I may leave the bazaar. Spend the money by the bar. It's the only one on the bar. I thought you go boys him up, but you go come and look at that. I'm happy for me. Maybe to come back. I want to come to me. Now I'm a country. What's my kind of want to me? I said, you know, the one for me. I'm going to look for me. Never really touch me.
Thank you. And this is my son, Zita. Zita just came back yesterday and he agreed to come and dance with me. I know we have a family member on the group. Her name is Zitas, but I call her Zita because she reminds me a lot about you. And thank you very much. Okay, I hope our resource person connects with the AI function. Come up with the AI function. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. Come. Whoa. Yeah, no, I mean, what's happening? What is this? Yes. Push it down. It's not working anymore. Yeah, push it down to me. Woo! I can see Fuko. Where is the other speakers? Yes. First of all, I want to say good evening to the family members. I can see a speaker at the backstage. Good evening, all. Yes, hi, Patricia. Patricia, Obudili, oh my sweetheart, Obudili, how are you? Adora Ifoma, Adora, how are you? Where is Ziti? Where is Zita? Where is Zita? My son's namesake. Rachel, Ogochi, Chuku, Edur. Rachel, how are you? Daniel, you look good, man. Daniel, thank you. Please, I'm so hot. Can you make the fan to be steady on me, please? Fan to be steady on me, please. This is Zita. Cities. You know, I always call you Zita. Yes, I just came with my son to show you your namesake. Please, I need the fan. I need the fan to be steady. Okay, we need to start. Where is our resource person? Let me try and give him a quick call. Um, where is he? I'll just say, where are you? Quickly. Yeah, let it stand on me. Where are you? I hope he didn't forget. Yes, yes, yes. I want to say good evening, every one of you. Good evening, good evening. Tonight, we are going to be looking at culture and atrocities. Yes, yes. Before I start, I want to say, before I start, I can see you at the backstage, Ifukur. Thank you for coming. Before I start, I want to play this video for you. I will be hosting this show with, what's her name? I want to see her name. So sorry. Little LM Chukwu. Yes, Little LM Chukwu has already introduced what culture is to every one of us. I just want to play her video. I'll be going off the backstage and playing her video. Yes.
I am here to talk about my names are Lemchukwu Chimamanda. I am here to talk about in our mind talk show. Tomorrow we have a topic named culture. First of all, what is culture? Culture is the people's way of life, or culture is the people's way of belief. If you want to know the full details, please join in our mind talk show tomorrow by 8 p.m. with Nurse Angel. Always remember that your destiny is in your hands, in our mind, always in my mind.
Wow, wow, wow. Little LM Chupu, she just defined culture and asked people to join the talk show. I really, really love the video. I want to say thank you to Little LM Chupu. And before we start again, I want to give a shout out quickly, a quick shout out to the following. Mr. and Mrs. Uchenna and Queen Understanding. I want to shout out to the following. A lot of you on the platform, you're wonderful. You've been very, very active. But I want to give a shout out to these particular people on today's talk show. We'll be giving shout out on a regular basis. So don't worry, it will be your turn one day. So Mr. and Mrs. Uchenna and Queen Understanding, I want to say thank you for all your work so far. I also want to shout out to Hassana Mohammed. Hassana Mohammed, I want to say we see your work and we want to appreciate you tonight. Also, we want to shout out to Okafor and Felicia, Okafor Felicia, Rachel Machi, Mr. and Mrs. Obioma, and Onye Yechi Obwehi. And also, I want to shout out to Solim Ibrahim and Princess Omi Tunde Fatima Omobolale. So, yes, it's a lot of shout outs today. I just wanted to shout out to you guys to say thank you for everything, every one of you on the platform you're doing. We honestly do appreciate you. And I want to use this opportunity to inform you guys that we are going to be having in our mind family member of the year. We always have the most active member on the platform, like on today's talk show. We have the most active participants on the for the month, but we will also be having the most active participants of the year. The person will be called in our mind family member of the year. I want to show you how we did it the last time we were live, we were on about 4 years ago. Yes, 4 years ago, Abel won the most active participant in the whole year. So we called him the fan of 2018. So this 2023, we will be picking amongst you all to for the most like the family member of the 2023. Wow, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. So I think we have to start. Wow, 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 wow. Let me see what the family members are saying. Our 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 guests, they are not yet here. Let me give them a quick ring and see why they are delaying. Ifuko is here, so I'll be bringing in Ifuko right now. Yes, Ifuko. Oh, hope NEPA has not taken light. Ifuko, good evening. You're muted, Ifuko. You're muted. Yes, Ifuko. Thank you for coming. Where is Ifuko? Can you please greet the family members?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everybody. Los Angeles, good evening this evening. How is heaven? It's like you just came down from heaven as angel. I hope there were no traffic.
There's
Did you
no
see?
traffic.
Did you see Angel Michael and Angel Gabriel?
We all came down together. They escorted me down and they left. Yes, thank you for asking. Thank you very much, Ifuko. I want to
Well
say
done.
before we start, Ifuko, we are going to be talking about culture and its various atrocities. Some of the cultures, anyway. So I want to say this. Yeah. Hello, can you please come to the backstage? Come to the backstage. Yeah. So I want to say that cultural norms and beliefs are learned. They are learned and reinforced by parents, relatives, peer groups, leaders, teachers, and religious bodies, and sometimes even academic tutors. They all try to reinforce and teach us cultural practices. Most cultural practices, Ifuko, I would say, are very healthy and it's really good for the society. However, Ifuko, there are some cultural practices that are quite toxic and barbaric. Okay, hold on. Yeah, one. Yeah, can you come to the backstage, doctor? Do you have the link, doctor? Doctor, do you have the link? You have it? Okay, let me give it to you again. I sent it to. Let me give it to you again, doctor. Yeah, it is in the resource group, and you said acknowledged. Do you remember you said acknowledged? Yeah? Go to the resource group and click on it. You said acknowledged, but I can resend it to you again. Sorry about this. Um, Let me resend it to you again. Yes, sorry about this. Okay, I've sent him the link. Apologies, family. So I want to say, Ifuko, that most cultural practices are very healthy for living. However, some of them can be very toxic, barbaric, and deadly. And also tonight, we are going to be focusing on the negative cultural practices because the good ones are good. We don't need to touch on it. But we are going to be looking at the negative cultural practices that must be abolished or changed. And what do we have? How do we do? How can we do that? By gathering and talking about it. That is the first step to any kind of changes. Can you mute if you're not talking? So tonight, we want to find out who made these toxic cultures. Who made them?
That is my
Yeah, sorry. I think I want to mute you if you don't mind, unless you want to talk. So we want to find out, family members, some of these toxic cultural practices. Who made them? Why were they made? When were they made? What purpose does it serve for the society? The custodians are the sufferers. Why was it made? What do the custodians stand to lose if these cultural practices are abolished? So we want to find out, Ifuko, some of the cultural practices, the family members and yourself, we've been talking about some cultural practices. And tonight we'll be looking at two of them if we have the time. Otherwise, we'll be looking at just one, and we'll have to come again another day. So one of the cultural practices we will start to look at before other of the resource persons come in will be what do you call it? The wife inheritance, wife inheritance, and shaving of hair when your husband dies. You know, I think wife inheritance is widespread, even in many African countries, not just in Nigeria, Igbo land, or Delta State or Yoruba. I know a lot of African countries, including Nigeria, practice wife inheritance. However, we want to look at, we will be looking at it as well as in Igbo land, we have the shaving of hair. I see a lot of people are talking about shaving of hair, good or bad. Let's look at them. It could be good. It may not be. So we'll have to look at them. But before we start, and while we are waiting for, where is Madam Hope? Madam Hope is not live. I can give her a call. I can give Madam Hope a call. She does not normally come to the backstage because she also complains of live. Madam Hope, let me. You don't normally come. I'm telling the family members that you don't normally come to the backstage. Why is this not connected? I want to connect you to the speaker. You don't normally come to the backstage because I don't know why. You say your light is always off. Come and connect this thing to the speaker for me. Unless I'll call her on another phone. Sorry, let's try. Is this speaker on? It's not picking up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. I can hear you, but I want you to be connected to the speaker. Okay, yes. Yeah. Hello. Okay. Oh, good. I think you're now connected. So, Madam Hope, before we got you connected, we are talking about the fact that cultural practices are quite good for living in the community, but there are certain cultural practices that are toxic and deadly for the society. And we want to find out who made them, why were they made, for what purpose, what will happen if they are abolished, why is it still in existence, and what have you. Let's quickly, Madam Hope, if you don't mind, look at the comments from the family members, see what they're saying, and get a go-ahead before we start. It is saying some culture need to be amended. Okay, thank you very much. And Adora is agreeing. Omolale said the shaving of the wife hair signify a mourn to the late husband. That is Omolale's view. That's fantastic. Chisom said top A media news and broadcast. I don't understand. Boss, okay, she's tagging. Princess said, who will win the highest? Oh, Fubumi, nice topic. Okay, I think they're just talking about what we have agreed to look at. So, can we start with you, Ifuku? Ifuku, can we start with the wife inheritance? Do you want to tell us anything you know? Do you practice it in your community? When a husband dies, the wife is now passed over to the brother or relative in the same family. Let's hear from you and also what you think about it. Ifuku. Well, Ifuku, you're muted. Okay.
I think it's okay now.
Yes, it is.
Yes. The culture of inheriting one's relative wife after the death of her husband is practiced in my culture. It's practiced in my culture. I'm a Delta Libo, Okwane precisely. And if you look at it also from the biblical perspective, it's also rooted in the Bible, that same culture. If you can remember when a particular family, the elder brother married a wife, the husband died, the second one down to the seventh brother. And now they are asking when they get to heaven, who is going to marry the same lady? And that's what they said, that in heaven there is nothing like marriage. So this same culture is also in the Bible. As a matter of fact, it's like my people contributed in the writing of the Bible. If I can look at it from that perspective, it's a culture. I myself personally am a product of such a culture. Early last year, can 70 50s, my uncle died, and my father was assigned to marry my mother, and um, my mom had me and my elder brother for my father, and also I have my elder brother also as my cousin, and that is how the culture is. Well, if you look at it, I don't see anything wrong in that culture. We live harmoniously, everything was fine. And since we've been living with it, and nobody, though it has its own challenges in a way, but I believe the advantage of that cultural culture outweighs disadvantages. So I am fully in support of it, and I can't condemn it because not because I'm a product of that culture, but because it's something I see it benefits society, and I will have lived with that culture for a very long time. So it's a good culture. I will encourage it even tomorrow.
Okay. It's a good culture. You will encourage it even tomorrow. Dr.
Yeah.
Temitope is just joining us, and I don't
Doc,
know.
welcome.
Yeah,
Doc, welcome.
Doctor, can we see your face?
Well done.
I know you're not in a dark place. Can we see you, Dr. Temitope? Thank you for coming. You're muted, by the way. Fantastic, fantastic. You look amazing, and you're in the bright light. I saw you in the video, so I know you were in the bright place. Please, let's see you. I don't want you to be in darkness. Madam Hope, Madam Hope. Oh, sorry. I think you have been disconnected from the speaker. Let me connect you. Okay. Fantastic. Madam Hope, you heard what you heard what Ifuko said, one of our speakers. Ifuko said actually that they practice the culture of wife inheritance. Wife inheritance. And he said it is actually a product of it. And he said it is rooted in the Bible. And he said it's something that he encourages. Madam Ho, what do you have to say about this?
You know, everything that has are you still there with me?
Absolutely. Just go on talking.
Okay. Anything that has advantage has disadvantage. Sometimes people will mean good for bringing up an idea and accepted it. It becomes a practice, and from there it's handed over to people. But sometimes people that don't even know the purpose of why that, they look at if it's benefiting them, they will take advantage of that to their own benefit, not for the original purpose that thing was done. If you look at the explanation, the narrative he gave from the scripture, he talked about where a woman is being married, and maybe before the woman could give an heir and a child and heir to the man, he died, and in the quest to raise a lineage, a root, a family for that brother, they will now ask the one of his brothers to marry that woman. The purpose is to raise a child, an heir for that person who is late. And that child that is being brought forth will bear the late man's name and will inherit the late man's property, the things, his own inheritance. They just want to use it to make sure that that particular person in that family did not lose his name and his lineage. The person who inherited that woman will protect that woman, but the child that is being brought forth will inherit the late man and answer the late man's name. And even that person who inherited her, whether he is married, if he's married before, it's okay. If he is not married, he still have the right to marry his own wife and raise his own family. That woman that he inherited was just to help raise an heir for that late brother. But we find out that because men are wicked in their thoughts, I'm not the word men I'm using here is human being, both male and female, so that we won't think I'm talking about male as a gender. I'm talking about a man who represents male and female. You find out that the same Bible said that the hearts of men are desperately wicked. Who can know it? You find out that when you go back to the scripture, you see a scenario where that young man who was supposed to raise an heir for his own brother felt that he can enjoy the sexual pleasure, but he cannot afford to raise an heir for his own brother, because he knew that that child he is bringing forth is not his own. He's not going to answer his name. He's going to answer his brother's name and inherit his brother's inheritance. So when he now decided to ejaculate outside, not to bring forth, God's wrath came upon him and this. So let us understand the purpose why that thing was brought.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, I'm addressing this now. Sorry. Now, going back, people now, the Igbo culture, who you find that most of the practices of the Igbos is also traceable to Jewish practice. So when you look at the Igbo culture, they also apply that the man inherits the brother's wife. Now, people began to take advantage of that when they want to have their brother's wife, they will try by all means to eliminate their brother so that they can inherit the wife. And when the wife refuses that marriage, even the one that already had seed, that already have hair for the brother, they still want to inherit her. When she wouldn't want to go into that relationship, they will now use that opportunity to disinherit that woman and the children, everything that belongs to that late husband. You see where the abuse of purpose is now. They now started practicing it. Instead of being a culture that's supposed to be beneficial, they now made it has a negative impact. And I had an experience in Benin the other day. I had to go to Benin, a case of a young lady who made the Benin husband at Onitsha. They married and they are living in Onitsha. Unfortunately, the young man died in an accident. And while they were living in Onitsha, they were living with the husband's younger brother who was staying with them and was doing apprenticeship, learning a skill. And this young man calls the woman auntie in the house, and will always, maybe while going out, he will ask auntie to give her transport money to go to where he's learning. Unfortunately, his brother died in an accident. And now, they now have to force the young lady that she had to marry this boy. That she has to marry this boy, that is their culture. Everything that belonged to that husband now belongs to this younger brother. That the woman, even to the extent that everything that even living within that house, that she had to, it got to the point that they even had to forcefully take away these girls, this young woman daughter that is 1 year plus, forcefully took her away from her because she refused to marry the boy that calls her auntie.
Okay.
And so when you look at all these cultures, these cultures are actually affecting us negatively.
Thank you very much, Madam Bo. Please, Dr. I know you are in a function. You will soon be asked to speak, but let me make a special request. Can we cut our discussion short because we always come back to you again to hear your views. Dr. Temitope, I believe you heard what was said. I want to I want to find out from you what is your own take regarding wife inheritance.
Okay. Over time, people need to appreciate that. Yes, culture evolves, culture changes with time. But from historical narratives, there are bases upon which cultures are formed. Please let's appreciate the fact that cultures are man-made. It's human being that creates the culture. And somehow they are created for social control. That's the originality of those original cultures. In some of the classes I teach, I let people understand that some of the existing cultures is to correct certain misnomers, certain abnormalities that are prevalent within the society. At the same time, some men then abuse some of those social control mechanisms. You imagine if there is increased rate of crime, there is increased rate of abortion in a community. So then the culture will then come, human man-made, procedures that tends to reduce those abnormality. Now let's look at the issue of female inheritance. We're not going to look at it from any narratives, but we want to appreciate the fact that man-made created it for selfish interest. Selfish interest. You can imagine where a man who feels to his own advantage that he wants to have so many wives, he wants so many children, to him, that is the source, or that is a way of determining his wealth. You are called a wealthy man depending on the number of wives or the number of children you have. So to him, he wants to, bring in more wives. Even the king himself does the same in those olden days. So, in an attempt to want to have forceful ownership of women, then you now induce certain cultural practices that then tells you that you can lay ownership of a woman that belongs to your brother or to your sister as a result of certain demise. Now, to me, all those cultures, two things I'm going to say. We have, over the years, allowed the Western culture or Western orientation to determine our value system. We even use some of their words, to interpret our cultural practices. It is not justifiable. So therefore, it would be wrong for an African man to call any African culture barbaric. There is nothing like barbaric. But notwithstanding, in instances where you find a man-made culture that have posited certain people at disadvantage for their selfish interest. Now, as the world is becoming a global village, is becoming more modern, we're becoming to appreciate certain realities. We are at liberty to correct them. Those things are no longer fit. So the issue of women inheritance can no longer hold anymore. Either you like it or not. Yes, look at USA today. USA today, you have more value for women than the men. Now, if you look at Africa, Nigeria again, most communities, most societies are becoming more aware. They are becoming more conscientized. Okay, as a result, now what do? They begin to correct instances where you say, okay, no, a woman should own everything. Today, you can go to the court and challenge every status quo and lay claim to what belongs to you. So the law always takes precedence.
All
That
right.
does not mean that sometimes they abuse the law itself. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Please be there. We should all mute. I thank you for all your contributions. There is something I want to say. I know you're speaking like a lecturer, Dr. Temitope. When I was in school, they said to me, "Oh, do not say any culture is bad. No culture is bad. No culture is barbaric." Excuse me. Excuse me. There are a lot of cultures that are barbaric. For instance, there was a time we had culture of killing of twins. If we say do not Please do not call culture barbaric. What will you say to a culture? Madam Hope, I'm coming, please. I'm coming, Madam Hope. So, what will you call a culture that we ask you to kill twins because of what? And we are not being taught not to say it's barbaric. We are not taught to be politically correct because we don't want to offend people. Excuse me. What about the culture that if a child grows a tooth up first instead of down or the other way around, kill that child, that then demonic children? It's barbaric to the highest point. It is absolutely evil, ignorance to the height of it. There are some of our cultures that are so barbaric that you cannot but say it is barbaric. I know we want to say, let's be subtle. And because of this subtlety, we are now ending up having to hold on to cultures. Don't say it's evil. Remember, it's your culture. Uphold it and teach it to children from generation to generation. Anyway, thank you very much. I want to come back to you, Ifuko. Ifuko said to us that he is a product of this very culture we are all talking about. Ifuko, part of what Dr. Temitope said is that some of these cultures, and also Madam Hope, is made for selfish interests. We would look at who made this culture at a stage. Why was it made? But part of that question I asked at the beginning, Dr. Temitope and Madam Hope said that these cultures were made for selfish interests of the makers, and they want you to uphold it. And he says something about some men wanting to marry many wives, and as a result, want to do certain cultures to please them. Can I ask you, Ifuko, I will unmute you, or I will say to you to get to okay, I will unmuted you. Ifuko, please, can you tell us, since you said you are a product of such culture, how many wives did your father marry?
Okay. My father was a high chief. He married 12 wives.
Okay.
And
thank you very
I
much.
grew up and I met 7. Some of them died before I grew up, and he was still with 7 of them when I was growing up.
Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
I
want to ask you another question. What did you say?
I said we lived well with the culture.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yes, we lived well. That is the truth.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I said I'm surprised because I know that I am a product of one man and one wife, and it's not easy for me to say we are living well. It's up and down. Sometimes
why I say we lived well was that I never knew I cannot pinpoint my mother till the age of, let's say, 3 or 5 years old, and that may surprise you.
You're talking since you're
that may surprise you.
Let me ask you another question. Ifuko, did you all live in the same house, like 12 wives in the house?
No, okay. My father, he had some. Not, all of them are not in the same town. Like my mother and about 3 of them are in our village where we grew up. Other one were with my father in the town. You understand? In the same compound but different house, different flats. The same compound but different flats. The place is just like a mini palace. Yeah, it's like a mini palace.
So your father, Ifuko, I'm not going to judge your father or judge you. Like Dr. Temitope said, no culture is bad.
Okay.
That's what they teach us in school, but I oppose it. But Ifuko, since you're like using yourself as an example, please, I would like to ask you, as a man, can you fully say, oh Jesus, he's gone. I wanted to find out from Ifuko whether he can satisfy one woman, not to talk of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12, a dozen wives. And you expect me to wait for excuse? Okay, that's fine. And Madam Hope, Ifuko,
Yes.
I think let's imagine is the network. What do you have to say of Ifuko saying that he was a product of 12 wives? Okay, he's back. Oh, thank God. Yeah, he was a product. Okay, he's back. Thank you very much, Ifuko. So, Ifuko,
Okay.
I want to ask you,
Yes.
as a man, can you fully, like, let's talk about sex. Yeah, let's talk about sex. Can you fully satisfy like, if, can you fully satisfy one woman every night? Is it easy to say? I'm not asking you your own ability. I'm asking you as a man. Can you fully satisfy one woman sexually every night, financially? What?
If I can fully satisfy one wife, is that a question?
But yeah, especially sexually. Not let's leave financially. Let's look at
No,
sexual.
no. Let be factual.
Yes.
Men, we live at the mercy of our wives sexually. Women are stronger than us sexually. That is just the
Okay.
basic truth.
Yeah. Can you explain what
But
that means? No, can you explain what that means? Because you're using a strong a big word.
what
to
I
say
mean,
stronger.
what I mean is that
Yeah. Okay.
when I say we men, we live at the mercy of our wives sexually because we cannot withstand their power sexually. You understand? For instance, you as a man, you have a wife, and mostly when you're advancing 40, 50, you climb your wife, let's say 2, 3 times, they are very powerful. And you beat your chest and say, yes, I've done well sexually. But that same woman, if it's in the hotel, if 10 men, if she meets 10 men in one night, you understand? So that means that means women are stronger. That is just the basic truth.
So
But let me shock you. My father had me at the age of 80.
okay, it doesn't matter.
So you can imagine a man of 80, he still has a very good libido at 80. My father
A
had me
woman
at the
of
age
80,
of 80.
sorry, Ifuko. A woman of 90 is still being raped by a young boy. So are you trying to tell me that
Yeah.
a woman of 80 cannot want sex? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say so. I didn't say so. I still believe, what I'm saying, that women are stronger than us sexually. That is my position.
Women
I am
can.
not taking that away.
When you say
Sometimes I imagine, sometimes I get confused how my father was able to curtail 12 women sexually. You
I'm happy
understand?
you say that.
Yeah,
Madam Hope, that's fine.
I'm saying the truth.
Thank you. I want Madam Hope to come in. Madam Hope, I'm so happy with
I'm
what
here.
I'm so happy that Ifuko is saying that he is confused how his father can curtail or manage 12 wives, and when he knows that it's difficult to satisfy just one woman, because as I am, he said it, a woman can receive 10 men at the time if she wants to, and yes, the father had 12 women. How are they going to wait for 12 days before you come and meet them? Also, and there is something else I want to add before I allow you to respond. Is the fact that okay, can you respond to that first of all, Madam Ho?
Okay. The truth is that these women, if you ask them, for him, he is a child. He felt that they all had a good. I can't remember the word he used. For like they don't. It was okay. They didn't have problem. But the truth is that a lot of these women were actually neglected. Starting with that, he says some were living in village, some were living with him in the city. And they can only get his attention when maybe he manages to come around or invite them over, and they die in silence. Their right to sexual, their right to sex, they did not actually maximize it because it's at the mercy of the man.
Madam Hope, you never can tell. Madam Hope, I'm sorry to say this. You can't say they didn't maximize it. You don't know what they were doing to get it together. So
I'm talking about husband and wife. You see, if it's supposed to be, sex is meant for husband and wife.
That is what it's
anything outside, that's what it's supposed to be. So for these people now, you see, they just have to make it up from outside, which is also not good. It's not a good relationship. It's not a good thing for the family. It has its own disadvantages. But you find out at the same time, you see there are other men there in the village trying to also help him out because he cannot be there, even if for those that he's and rivalry among women. Some will feel that this one is giving more attention to this. Sometimes when you watch some of these films, you know that they are trying to portray realities, what normally happen. The truth is that even if somehow, because that time, that early stage is mostly focusing on bringing 4 children, go to farm, bring food from farm, we'll eat, we'll have sex, and there is no much education demand, there is no much economic pressure. It's most of the pressure that time before the coming of the white men and introduction of education and everything. But that early stage when men are marrying that plenty of wives, you find out that that was during the agrarian era and all those stuff. But now that there is plenty demand, look at just one man, one woman family, the challenges we are having economically and a lot of things. You getting extra woman is already an extra load and problem for yourself. So when we look at all these things, that some of these things happened that time, and they somehow managed to. It has its own challenges, which you are not there for them to explain and tell you what they went through. But we cannot encourage such thing now. Even the people having mistress outside is another luggage and problem for adding it to your own family. So that's the area I want to talk about.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Emmanuel Saint Cross said, if you're talking about many wives, now I'm asking, what about now that women that still want to be a second or third and even wife, even in the city? Thank you, Emmanuel. This will bring us back to our topic of discussion, because what we are actually talking about is wife inheritance rather than many wives. So right now, I want to say that is it good for, we've asked you, you said it's good. Madam Hope, we know what you said about the inheriting wife. What about the woman? What about the woman? Let me ask you, Ifuko, who do you think made the law? Who do you think made the law? I'm not saying you will know. None of us know. It's always passed from generation to generation. But when I say, who do you think made that kind of law for a man to inherit his brother's wife? Who do you think made it? You're muted. You're muted.
If you look at the law generally, the tradition generally, and the people that are in charge of it, people that discuss it when the need arises, they are the men. So that tells you it's also the men which are the head of family at that particular time that made those laws. That's how I look at it, because they're the one that enforce those laws. I believe it's the men that make the law.
Thank you. Now, I am happy that you're honest. The law that were made by the men of old during the time they made the law, do you think is for the advantage of the woman or for the man?
But sometimes I still believe women are considered, because there are certain age a woman will attain. You don't look at it as a woman again. You begin to look at it as very close to the men. I think most of those laws, most of those culture, the women were being consulted as well to check
Okay.
certain abnormalities. You understand? So I believe the women were consulted before they made those, before they established those cultures.
Thank you very much.
I have a question for him.
Okay.
I have a question for him.
Yes, doctor.
Please,
Uh,
the
okay.
question I want to ask, doctor, I'm asking you this question
No,
so that you
doctor
can.
has disappeared. Doctor is not there. So it's Ifuko.
But he can be hearing us. It's possible that he can hear us even if he has disappeared.
Okay, you can ask. We'll treat it. That's fine.
Okay. The question I want to ask is this. I'm asking him. At what point does he think women were consulted? Looking at, I'm considering the Igbo culture here.
Okay. He's
When a family, when a
He's
so that you,
continue.
so that I can relate, I need him to respond to this. At what point does he think women are consulted?
Okay.
When there is
when I'm growing up, my family is a very large.
I've not finished answering the question. At the family level, when a meeting is called, do you involve the women in that family meeting? Let us be honest. When the Umunna meeting is being held, do they involve the women? Or do they send message to the women, the Umuopu or the Umunye, where they are meeting to ask them?
Yes, we do in my own. See, when we have like in my culture, when we have certain pressing issues concerning culture, we allow the women to hold their meeting while we the men will hold our meeting.
What do you
And
mean
then
allow?
we ask them that we seek for the opinion most of the time. When I mean the meeting are not being, as we are holding our meeting, they are holding their meeting.
Okay.
If we call a meeting today, the woman will also extend that meeting to them. You hold your meeting. We trust. We put down what we want to discuss. Then they will come with opinion. We'll come with our opinion. We'll mind the two opinion. If we believe, if sometimes we take their opinions. Sometimes we take the opinion. That is, I don't at my family level. I'm not talking about the entire society level. Even at the society level too. Our society is divided into strictly male and female. We have the elderly ones, which are the custodian of the culture in our society too, in our village and town then. So the women hold their meeting, we hold our meeting with the men, and most of the time we call them, they air their opinion and we take position. That is how I grow up. That is how I see how where my family, my parents, they are running it, our elders are running it till this day.
Okay.
I can swear just pin it down to my own family recently. But let me just keep my family aside. Let's focus on society generally. I think we'll consult them. That is just the truth. And I believe that consultation has been there right from time immemorial.
Ifuko, can I ask you a question? You said it's the men that made
Please
this.
go ahead.
You said it's the men that most likely, which is obvious, that made this law for the woman.
Yes.
For the woman, and most time they say it's to protect, but sometimes it could be to control. Can I ask you, is there any similar law that if a woman dies, that the man should go back to the family and marry from the family, also to protect or to ensure that the inheritance goes to her? Is there a similar law for men, just like the men made the law for the woman?
We we do not have such law in my society, but I've heard a situation whereby in certain culture where they say, this man is so nice to us, the other side just die and they have the younger ones, and the family will say, if because of how close, how good you are to the family, you can as well come and marry our the younger sister. We are giving it to you. We have had such culture in Nigeria and here.
All right. So
So I
let's
can't
go
rule
back
that
again.
off. I think it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. I've heard about that such
I
culture.
want to say,
But in my own community, I think we don't do it. We see it as a taboo. We see it as a taboo in my own community. So once you are married, and as a woman, if you are married to a family and it didn't work out, the chapter is closed. We don't go back and begin to present another young lady for the man for marriage. We don't do that in our culture.
before I go to Madam Hope, I want to say to you that, oh dear me, I think his network is giving up. Madam Hope, he just
I'm here.
let's talk on his behalf. I think his network is playing up. He said it's a taboo in his culture for such a law to be on men. However, he said there are other cultures he knows that the family of the woman will appeal. He didn't say it's a mandate, just like that of the woman is. He said if they will appeal to the man to come and marry from their family, which could be correct, because he was so good. You see? Okay, he's back. I think he's back. If we
I,
could,
I think it's the network.
yes, I agree. If we could, there are two things you mentioned that I want to point out. You said that is a
Okay.
taboo. You said it's a taboo in your country for such law that you
Yeah.
said again that men made for women, which is good for them, is a taboo when that same law comes back to the man. Why did you say it's a taboo? So, Ifuko, if you call that law a taboo, do you mean? I think it is. The network is giving in again. So, Madam Hope, he said it's a taboo for such a law to be for men. Yet, it is a very good law that he supports for it to be for women. Madam Hope, what are you sensing and smelling? What are you smelling?
What I'm sensing and smelling is that, like I said, human being
Look
is
at it
most
now.
of the
Let's say for
time.
Go on, go on.
Can you mute him so that
Yes.
the decisions would people they make most of the times is based on selfish interest, the one that will benefit them. In as much as the second scenario was not made a culture.
No,
The second scenario is not made a law,
no,
which is the culture now.
no, no.
The second scenario is in a situation where maybe there is a good, the man is
Relationship.
a good man,
Yeah.
there is a good relationship, and the woman died, and because we know that most of the times a total stranger, a total different woman coming into that marriage may not have the best interest of the children at heart.
Yeah.
So the man may prefer to marry a sister to the late wife, who has been like a family to him, and the woman can now see the children as her own because they are the sister's children. On that note, is meant for the best interest of protecting the children, and also that most of the times that's the basic thing. Marrying from the same family is targeting at also they have enjoyed a good in-law family relationship, and for the protection of the children of the late sister. That one is just as occasion demand. It's not a culture, it's not a law. So calling it a taboo, I wouldn't know on what ground
Yeah,
would
good,
they now
Madam
say
Ho.
that it's a
Madam Ho.
taboo.
We will hear from him now. He's here. So, if you go, there is a member in the family that also said to me, he's one of our own, Olushai Roland. Roland said it is a taboo. I don't support it now. And you just said it's a taboo. If you go, why is a law that you support so well and you said to me it is good and that is good for the women made by men? Why is that same law that you see as very good now when it comes back to the man, it is a taboo? Why is it so? Please, I would like to know.
Well, see, because because we see it as a taboo in my place, doesn't mean that other people see it as a taboo.
I want
Even
to
me,
stop you there. I want to stop
myself.
you there.
Let me explain
No, no,
why
no, no,
he
no.
frequently that
No, no, no. He said he wants to go back to other people that don't see it as a taboo. I want to come back
no,
to you.
explain your
Don't
own.
worry. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Ifuko, I agree with you that some people see it as a taboo. That's as a good thing. That's good. I want you that said this is something you guys practice, and you said it's good. You are a product of it, and it's good for the woman. Now, I said, is it done for the man in your place? You said it's a taboo. Why is it a taboo for the man in your place?
Madam, I said, I want you to get me very clear. I said my culture sees it as a taboo.
Yes.
I didn't say that does not mean that it's a taboo to other people because they are practicing it and
So your own
it's okay with
people,
them.
why is it a
It's
taboo
okay
for
with
your
them.
people?
But my people, they see it as a taboo. I don't know why they look at it as a taboo, but since other people are practicing it and it's
Oh,
going well with them,
I was
I don't
talking.
see anything wrong with it.
Sorry, I think I don't know what. Yeah, Ifuko, I want to say this to you. I know you're keen on telling me about the other people that do it. I am keen to hear from you. Why do your people see a law they made for a woman a taboo if they are asked to practice it? Please, I want to hear.
I can't hear you. I'm not even hearing your question.
Okay.
I can't hear your question.
Madam, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I want to mute him. Ifuko, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can- Sorry, can you unmute, Ifuko? Unmute, you're muted. Probably his network is
So what
wrong.
I'm trying to say is that because but can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I think it should be network. But can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Ifuko, I think the network is playing up. You can continue. Continue. We can hear you. All right. I think this network is playing.
Maybe it's okay. But can you hear me now, madam?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What I'm saying. Okay. What I'm saying is that that is how.
Okay. The network is really playing up. Let's see, Madam Ho, before we continue, let's see what the House members are saying. Olusegun Roland said, I don't support both man. That's fantastic. I don't support both man. Either for a man to inherit his brother's wife or the husband marrying from his wife's family. Okay, he said he doesn't support it. Meskana Timothy said, today network is okay. Victoria, oh Jesus, they are all complaining about network. Felix, nice question. Okay. Onye Yenichi says the network. They are all talking about the network. Okay. Yes, if we call you back, I'm dying to hear this question. These are the answer to the question. I want to know, Ifuko. I thought they say one good turn deserves another, as in what is good for the good is good for the gander. If you think that you as a man, you're saying it's so good. And we are now saying let's also pass it to the man. So to be a woman and a man inheriting both laws. You say no, it's taboo for your people, but it's good for your women. It's taboo for your men, but it's good for your women. Why is it a taboo for your men? And why do you think, like you said, it's good for your women? You.
See what I'm saying. What can you hear me now?
Yes.
What I'm saying is that it's not every of my culture, every of our culture that I align with as a good culture. Just as you said, some culture are barbaric, though doctor said no culture is barbaric. But me and you understand that if go deep down, some culture are not worth practicing again.
How
But
Baba?
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that because my people feel it's a taboo, that doesn't mean me personally, my personal opinion, I'm seeing it as a taboo. You understand? Yeah. Since other people are practicing it and it's okay with them, and you also look at their motive. Now most of them want to give you their children after the demise of their elder sister because of how good you are to them, because maybe you have been providing for them, or to extend that love to the later sister's children, which is the fulcrum of the culture. That is their motive. That is not a
Okay.
selfish. If you look at it, it's not a selfish aspect of it. It is
Okay.
okay.
We
So
will
if there is something,
talking
there's
on.
something good in that culture. There's something good in that culture. So it's not totally bad. But
Okay.
my people calling it a
We will soon be rounding up, Dr. Ho, because I would like us to talk about scraping of the head in another. We'll have a lot of segments of the culture, part one, part two, and so on. I want to find out from you, Madam Ho. Since we all agree that, like, I'm not saying this particular culture is barbaric. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that there are some cultures that are so barbaric and deadly that it has to be abolished with immediate effect. If we have the SU system where they segregate and stigmatize and isolate people because of their birth into a particular family and so on. There are many, many evil cultures that we need to abolish. But there are some cultures that we may say, oh, it's not suitable for me. That does not mean it's bad or it's good. It's just that it's not probably suitable. And if given the opportunity, we'll say we want our right of choice. You know, we have human law. Human part of the human. I know you're a promulgator.
Can I talk?
Yes, talk. Yeah, talk. That's fine.
Because you've made your point. Since we are rounding off, and I will always call our attention in this family that whatever issue we brought up here to discuss about, we always have a target. Our target and purpose is for the purpose of let us have an understanding and begin to weigh some of these things. Are they beneficial to us? If they were handed over to us by our parents, are they good? Are they bad? Do we continue to uphold it? Because one thing is clear, that Ifuko, when he was asked why did they see the other side of it as is he, what was the language that was used? Is it abomination or what?
Taboo.
Taboo. Yes, sorry. When they as a taboo, he couldn't explain the reason behind that, why they see it as a taboo. He only knew that it was handed over to them. You understand? But now when you bring it to his consciousness to begin to weigh and look at it, you find out that he will now acknowledge the fact that there is nothing to make that decision a taboo. But there is one thing I want to balance here, both from the male side and from the female side. Whatever we do is what is the purpose behind it? Is it meant for good? Is it meant for good, or is it out of selfish interest? It's possible that a man who had a family after his demise, that he has a brother who also loved the wife, not that he killed him or whatever, but while he was alive, maybe he had a good relationship with the woman. Maybe he's not married yet, because we are not encouraging where a man that is already married bringing another garbage into his own family. I'm looking at where maybe somebody who is still single and his brother is late, and the wife to his brother is still young, and they had a good relationship, normal, without any ulterior motive prior to the death of the brother. But they had an understanding, they see themselves as family. And when the brother died, and the woman as an adult also liked the brother to her late husband. And if that young man, if the brother-in-law proposes to her and she's interested in that marriage, nothing stops her from marrying the. But where is a condition, where is a sort of like enforced, where she's being forced that she must marry the brother to her late husband, that is where the problem is. But in a situation where out of love, understanding, and friendship, they on their own make choice, decided on their own they want to get married, I don't think there is anything wrong about it from the man's side. Then coming to the woman's side, even in my community, I have a brother who is a Christian. He had a wife, and the sister-in-law was staying with them. So while they were staying together, they were living well. The children are used to this young lady, their aunt. That's their aunt now, their mother's sister. And along the line, their mother was sick for a very long time, and later she died. And the young lady has been there because she has been living with them in that house, has been there taking care of these children, and children are comfortable with her. So what the brother did, instead of going, because he's still young, he need a companion, instead of going to marry a total strange woman into that house, he proposed to this sister and she accepted, and they got married, and they are doing well, and the children are so happy and protected. They see her as their mother. So it must not be a culture. It's something that has to be free. Like people are free to decide who to marry. But where is becoming a law and a culture that you have to force somebody against her will? Like that lady, if she didn't like the man and she didn't want to marry him, and she was forced to marry him because she had to protect the sister's children, it would have been another wrong thing, abusing her fundamental human rights. But this is her choice. She's comfortable. She made that decision. So let us begin to look at this, that whatever we're taking away from here is that even if they made it a culture, that culture should cease. Let people have the freedom to make their choice of who they want to marry, whether it's their late brother's wife or whether it's their late wife's sister. It should be an open thing that people are free to make their choice, not because culture said it and you have to lord it and force it over the people. That's the area.
Thank you. Ifuka, I don't know if you want to respond, but before you respond, I want to go to the family. I see people saying, do you want to respond, or should I say something to the family? Ifuka, let me say something to the family. Family. I know this is what I should have done the first time before now, but it's never too late. It's better to be late than be late. Family, when you hear the word culture, what do you see? What picture comes to mind? What word or term? What do you feel? When you hear the word culture, I want you to put a word, 2 words, a sentence. What do you think about? What image or picture or sentence or word come to your mind? I just want to say, when you hear culture, what do you think about? Bukola, people should have their opinion. Let me see. Culture is belief, okay. Culture is also communication, okay. Well said, Madam Hope. Ancient tradition. So Ogechi said when she hears the word culture, she thinks of ancient tradition. Solub said way of life. I meant ways of life. Okay. Let's see. Lucia, culture sounds like rules. Daniel said, that's true, ma. Women should not be forced to get married. I think he's still. So people should have make choice. Okay. When you hear the word culture, what do you think about? Patience says culture is life itself. That's strong. Lolo said a similar marriage. Okay, she's talking about something else. Lolo. Bukola said culture is way of life. Okay. Paz said culture is way of life. Okay. Um, I must say what a community believe and works with. Okay. Rachel said, let it be a freedom choice, as in a free choice. Okay. So let's see the last one. Taiwo said, I don't like that culture where the younger ones will be marrying elder brothers. Okay, so most of our family members have said, depicted what they think culture is. Some say it's rules, some say ancient tradition, some say way of life, and some say, like I see, tradition here as well. If you go, what is your last statement regarding culture before we close? We will still come back, if not to this
Yeah.
topic, other topics on culture. Let's hear your closing statement or whatever you believe about culture before I wrap
A
up.
culture as laws, there are boundaries, they are set
Not
ancient,
culture,
there's
not
there are
culture,
boundary, there are
not
boundaries. I see
culture.
them as laws. I see them as boundaries. They are laws. Yes.
I wanted to hear
Yeah,
from
I see
you
I see those
regarding.
culture as laws. As
Go on, go on.
hello?
Yeah, go on. I wanted to hear from
You
you.
ask what's my
I wanted to hear from you whether you know. You said you like that.
yes, what I'm saying is that I can't hear you properly. The network
Just
is
talk.
poor.
Just
What
keep
I'm
talking.
saying is that I see those culture as law. They are boundaries. As I see those cultures and tradition, I see them as laws. They are boundaries that restrict us, over time and shape the way we live. That's how I see them. That's how I see culture.
Thank you. Madam Hope, I know you said you wanted to
Can
talk.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. That's fine. I want to wrap up. I don't want us to, okay, he's still talking. You're muted. Unmute yourself and talk. You, yeah. What are you saying? You were muted.
No, no. I see those cultures and tradition as laws.
Okay, that's fine. We've heard you. We heard you. So mute.
I'm
Let's
not
just.
muted now. Can you hear me?
No, we
Can
heard
you hear
you.
me?
We heard everything you said. We heard everything you said.
My mic is on. I'm not muted.
We heard
Okay,
you.
I say I see. Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay,
So, Madam Hope,
okay.
do you have a final word before I wrap
Yes,
up and we go? Please, quickly.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. What I want to say is that when we talk about culture, culture is all encompassing. Culture, you look at it, it has to do with a lot of things. Somebody says a way of life. The way we dress, what we eat, the way we dance, the things that our values, the things we say that these things are the values we say we uphold, that these ones are good values, that these ones are wrong, we shouldn't do this. It's just like somebody says it's a rule trying to put determine how people live their life, how these things should be done. It's like a law. There is an aspect of the law there, that people shouldn't do this, people should do this. All these things is channeled at what the values of the people inform what guides them. So when we look at these cultures, we find out that it's people that maybe sometimes these decisions we are taking based on a scenario, a situation may come up, and the decision might be taken based on the situation that came up. From there, before you know it, it will now be accepted generally that this thing should be done this way. And because generation comes, generation goes, and time changes, things changes. Like today, we are talking about global village. We are talking about a lot of we are talking about a lot of things has changed. It's no longer the way things were then. So maybe some decision that we are taking earlier might have worked then, but things has changed. And if we look at it and find out that if we keep on upholding that thing, not even knowing what led them to make that decision, I will keep holding it, saying that this is part of our culture, and it's doing us more harm than good. That's why we say that we are the agents of change, and we want to begin to look at things that are no longer beneficial to us. Let us begin to be the agent of change, to begin to correct it. Let us not hand it over to our children anymore. Let us begin to provide solution to it.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Ho. And before we end, I'll look at the comments of our members. Um, Oye Bade said, "Culture is the way of life." Sunday, oh David, okay, he said I was invited. Okay. Juliet said we have to abolish some cultures. Mbok. Else people will stop going to their villages. Ifoma Okwa said, but it's not easy to abolish it, as if she's responding to Juliet. Obio has said change is constant. Yeah, and Mark said, thank God for being part of this show today. Mark, we are happy that you're part of us. Wisdom Boy, Jesus Boy say, culture defines our identity. That is fantastic. And Solup said, there is no way we can abolish culture. We can only remove they are saying the same thing in different ways. They say there is no way we can abolish culture. We can only remove the bad side of it. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can read a couple more. Oluwakemi said, way of life and shape of life of people. Rachel said, culture is the way of life. Tajuddin said, civilization has washed away a lot of unmeaningful culture. And finally, I will read this one. Say, Rachel Ogochi said, culture is the way of life of people. Now, I want to say this. Culture is huge. Culture can be good. Culture, you see, when we say culture, as you guys have all said, and as little Elechuku said, culture is the way of life of the people. So sometimes our behavior, attitudes, our belief, and our understanding depends on the culture we are born into, the society we are born into, and their cultural practice. And there is no way you can say a culture is totally good, because culture was not given by God. I see people say it's divine, heavenly. Fantastic. Maybe it's divine and heavenly because it's divine and heavenly because it's a kind of models. Sometimes without what is culture? Culture is just the law, the practices and accepted ones by the people. It's just like government. Governments make their own law to ensure that people behave in certain ways, like they have law enforcement officers, like the people that say they are custodians of culture, to ensure that you follow the law of the government. If you come to religion, government will talk about, religion will talk about. You see the doctrines in the religion that tells you ways to live your life, to be religious or spiritual, and they also have means of ensuring that is enforced. Same thing with culture. Culture is the practices and belief agreements of the people. They teach it through schools, through family. When you're born in a family, they start teaching you their culture. They start from childhood, they start telling you this is the way we do things, this is not the way we do things. So it is mainly made so that we will be shaped to behave good, generally speaking. Generally speaking. However, there are certain cultural practices that are toxic. And I say it without fear or favor. They are toxic to the highest extent. Many of them have been abolished in terms of that particular toxic culture that either kills people. There are some there are some areas, societies that when their king died, their kingsmen or virgins or women or their servants are buried alive with them. These are cultural practices. Some areas have abolished it. Some people may still be practicing it. So this is not just toxic, it is barbaric and deadly. How can you bury a living creature alive because a king died? Excuse me. If you are telling me don't say a culture is barbaric, or if you are telling me we have to uphold our culture, sorry, there are certain cultures that are not good. And these bad cultures are what we are trying to look at. Not that everything we are looking at will be bad. Some of them we want to debate it and see how can we ensure that it's well practiced. So I want to repeat, majority of our culture is absolutely amazing, fantastic and good. Nonetheless, some of our cultures is barbaric and has to be abolished. We will look at a lot of them as time goes on. Most important thing we need to know is these barbaric cultures, who made them? Why were they made? What is the purpose of this culture? Who are they to what is it who is beneficiary of this culture and who is suffering from this culture? And we also want to know what we want to know, like some people say, is difficult. It's difficult to change these cultures. Yes, it's difficult, whereby some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. So it's difficult. But when we try to debate, deliberate, look at it, for instance, the particular topic of a cultural practice of wife inheritance, which I honestly don't have a huge opinion on, in terms of, I'm not going to say it is totally bad because I want to understand first of all the purpose of it. However, because if I'm to look at human rights, I I do not want anybody to inherit me. I am not a property. I don't want to be inherited. I don't want to be categorized as a property to be inherited. If anyone wants to be inherited, fantastic. Let them be inherited. Personally, if anything, God forbid, but if anything happens to my husband, nobody, no relative should come to me and say that they are giving me to the next person. I won't go. I will not go. And if you want to kill me, kill me. I don't want to be a property that will be transferred from one person to the other. No, I have a life. I have a human right of choice. I want to make my own decision. I want to choose my own man. I don't want you to choose it for me. I'm an adult. Excuse me. I'm an adult. Do not choose my husband for me. However, again, if anyone wants to be inherited, in terms of to be given out for inheritance, let them go. Fine. I can't judge them, but I will not. So again, it's difficult to say because sometimes one man's meat is another man's poison or poison, yes. So probably at this stage, what we may be looking at is instead of you to make it mandatory, like you said, it's a taboo. As it is a taboo for you, Ifuko, it is a taboo for me. Ifuko, as the same way is a taboo for the man, it is a taboo for me. Personally, if anybody think it's good, fantastic. Go, do it. I see it as a taboo. Don't do it. I will not do it. Kill me, I would rather die happily than to be sad and go to another man that I don't want to be with just because I'm supposed to be inherited. No. So, to end, I will say we will continue to look at culture and some practices. As I said, I don't have an opinion on this particular culture. If the people decide they like it, let them like it. Don't bring it to me. Nonetheless, as I want to, in ending, I want to say, let us remember women are not properties. So are men not properties. Do not inherit me. Or if someone wants to, if I like a brother of my husband and I really do like him, I may even go to him if my husband dies. I will go to him and say, please, I like you, especially if he's not married. And instead of going out, I don't mind to be with you. But it's my decision. 100% mine. I don't want you to impose it on me. And this is how I want to end. Unless you guys have any other thing to say, DJ, start getting ready for the song. DJ, are you here? I don't know if my DJ is here or he's disappeared. DJ, are you here? So, Madam Hope, I think I have made my point. This is my point. I want us to start winding down. Let me see what the family are saying, unless you want to say something. Culture is okay. I think I've read this. Let me see what the family members said from what I said. Hassana is laughing. Zita, Zita said, love what you said. Rachel said, nice topic. Patience said, culture doesn't need to be enforced on anyone. Pat said, right on, ma. Lola Joy said, yes, so on another. Thank you, Nurse Angel. And I think I will. Where is my DJ? He has disappeared.
Okay. You wanted me to say something.
If you want to say something before we close.
Yes, I do. Go on. What I want to say is that wife inheritance should be discouraged. That is a culture that is self-centered. It's part of the discrimination against women. Is part of the gender-based violence. That is a you can call it a harmful traditional widowhood practice. So when you look at all these things, it is not benefiting any woman. It's not. So it has to be abolished. That is being practiced before now. We have seen even in my community, I saw a man who inherited his brother's wife. I saw the attitude, his behavior towards the son of the son that woman had for his brother, and his own, the ones that she gave birth to him. All these things, you will always see that they have selfish interest, and it's never for the best interest of the woman, except for the situation where we have, I had said earlier, which Nurse Angel also emphasized. If a woman lost her husband and she felt that she likes the husband's brother, and on her own willingly want to marry him, it's a different ball game. But where the situation, the culture said she has the brother must marry her, so that she, even when she had children for the husband, if not, she will lose all the inheritance of the husband because she refused to marry the brother. That is the aspect that we said is zero tolerance, is no for that. So this is our family. We have to look at anything that is good, we can uphold it. But anything we know that is not good, especially when a particular gender is benefiting and another gender is suffering, should be discouraged. We cannot continue to uphold it.
Thank you very,
that
very
is
much.
What I'm
Thank
yes,
you very,
that is
very
what
much.
my last word.
Thank you very, very much. Madam Hope, you can go back to the Facebook page and watch me dance. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Madam Hope. DJ, don't put that Ogene back for me, please. I don't know how to dance Ogene. And before I go, DJ, where are you? I want to see you now. Please let me see you. Put another song for me. So, okay, thank God. Before I go, I want to see. Okay, we've talked about in our Mind Fan of the Year. I want to remind you that Mr. Tony Namani's 50,000 naira giveaway contest is still there. No one, we've not started it. Tomorrow, we are look for another song for me, a song I can dance. Tomorrow, we are going to make a post regarding the 50,000 naira giveaway. And remember, we wanted it to be for the member. We are still thinking and deliberating. We are going to make a post for 50,000 giveaway, which will be a Christmas present for someone, as in the winner of this. Yes. So, DJ, let me see what the family are saying before we dance. Invited by welcome Omar Tayer, Meseka, but gender equality should be brought into culture. Absolutely, Timothy. So, DJ, what song are you playing for me so I can start dancing straight away? Zita, we need to abolish those culture that doesn't favor humanity. Absolutely, yes, I agree with you. So, DJ, song, put a song, let us dance and close. DJ, put a song. Increase the volume.
Anya Mwachamago, Anya Putago, Ife Bebego, Imamoniu, 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 Imamoniu,
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I think I may need you guys, whomever is to the first to dance to this song and show me how to dance it well. I'm going to give them 10,000 naira. So make a video of you dancing Imakwanyibu. Anybody can do it. The first three videos, the first three videos of this song, which would be a new, like not an old video of yours, a new video of yours dancing to this song, showing me how to dance it well. First three videos, we get 10,000 naira. Yes. Yes, so on that note, I want you to remember two things in particular. Two things in particular. Number one, we will be having, at the end of this year, in our mind, family member of 2023. I remember during Abel's time, then our prices were low. He got 100,000. This time around, I know we started around September, so we'll consider the fact that we started in 1/4 of the year. We'll give you something good. But next year, we are going, and the criteria will be posted tomorrow to be in our mind family member of the year. Number one, you must be super duper active. Not just super duper active, you must do something extraordinary, out of the ordinary. You are all super duper active. Nonetheless, you must do something out of the ordinary to show yourself. During Abel's time, Abel, then we didn't have the uniform in Nigeria. Abel himself produced this uniform he's wearing, produced it, and he went out showcasing in our mind all over his area. And for that singular act, Abel won in our mind Farm of the Year 2018. Similarly, we will look at your actions so far, and based on just one extraordinary thing you do, you may be in our mind family member 2023, in our mind farm of 2023, and we'll decide on the amount you get. Secondly, Mr. Tony Namani's 50,000 naira giveaway will post the contest tomorrow. Details of everything will be posted tomorrow morning. And so far, I really love you guys. I have to go. My admin will kill me. Look at the time. Noted, man. That's fantastic. That is a big girl. Pass. Wow. Yeah, remember, three videos win 10,000 naira each. First three videos. So what you will do, if you dance, tag in our mind, post it on your wall, dedicate it to in our mind, tag in our mind, or use any of our hashtags we've created before. Even if it's the hashtag for the boy contest or the adult contest, you use it. You can tag and put the hashtag so we can see it. We'll look at the time you posted it. The first three videos, you get 10,000 naira. So on that note, I will be ending. I love you all. Remember, we'll be having a part 2 of the culture and atrocities next week. We say thank you very much. Bye-bye for now. Remember, in our mind is always in my mind, and your destiny, your destiny is in your hands. I love you guys. Thank you very much, and good night.